thinking about a movie called No Country for Old Men lately. And I don't know if you've seen this movie, but it's a very excellent film. Very excellent film. No Country for Old Men. And if you haven't seen it, I'm going to give away a bunch of spoilers here. So you can just go ahead and skip like maybe 5-10 minutes. But there's a couple of characters I want to talk about, and that's Llewellyn, that's Anton Chigurh, and that is Sheriff Bell. And let's talk about Llewellyn first, Josh Brolin's character. Llewellyn is an interesting character because you think he's the protagonist, but he's not. You know, you think he's the protagonist of the story, but he's not. He's just a good old boy, you know, Vietnam vet, you know, out hunting one day and stumbles upon something, you know, and that's kind of how it starts this whole story in motion. He stumbles upon something. And now this good old boy, Llewellyn, he finds himself with these choices, right? And whenever he makes a selfish choice, it turns out okay for him. But whenever he tries to do the right thing, that's when stuff goes wrong for him. You know, it's really kind of interesting as far as the character as Llewellyn, because it's, and in comparison to other characters as well, is Llewellyn, he finds this money, right? And in the process of finding this money, he comes across this Mexican guy, the last man, you know, alive, and he asks him for agua, for water, and he says, I don't have no agua, I don't have any water.
Agua. I ain't got no water. Told you ain't got no agua.
But he goes and gets the money, he gets all the way back home, and in the middle of the night, he gets up out of bed, and he goes and fills up a jug of water, and his wife asks him, what you doing? And he goes, something stupid. So even he knows, it's like, you know, I can't sleep on this. I cannot sleep on that man dying out there just asking for water. I got to do a humanitarian type of thing. Even he knows this is stupid. I'm going back to a place where it's like a cartel standoff, and the people are going to be looking for whatever, that money. So I'm going to go back there to get this guy some water because it's the human thing to do. And he does the right thing, and it causes him a world of headache when he finally gets over there. Then, because of what happened after he goes back out there, you know, gets shot at and stuff, he runs back home and takes the money and runs and tells his wife, you know, to go live with her mom or something like that. I can't remember the detail. Her mom, yeah. And so, which is, you know, kind of a selfish thing to, kind of the right thing to do is to send his wife away. But then his wife becomes endangered because they're looking for Llewellyn and the money. And so, and Llewellyn, you know, he's sitting there, like, even right before he gets killed, there's that girl hitting on him at the pool, and he's like, I'm married, you know, I got $2 million in a satchel, and girls hitting on me in a pool, but I'm still going to do the right thing. And he gets killed. And it's kind of an interesting thing about that character is that, you know, you think he's the protagonist, you root for him, but he, you know, the choices he makes that are the right thing kind of end up getting him killed. And that's the nature of the world sometimes. Now let's talk about the randomness, the chance of it all, you know, and that's Anton Chigurh's fascination. Anton Chigurh's fascination is with chance. And it's something that he can't really control to a more certain degree, but he still tries to harness it in many ways. And that's the whole point of the coin flip. You know, that's the whole point of the car accident at the very last part of the film. You know, Chigurh, it's also the point of him like blowing up that car to create this chaos, you know, create this randomness in order to, you know, steal some medical supplies. You know, and that's the point of his character is he's fascinated with the idea of chance. As I flip the coin, you call it, you know, because
call it.
It's impartial. He finds it to be fair, you know, and it's impartial. But he bases what he does, is am I going to kill you or not, kind of thing. And then his Llewellyn's wife challenges him. She's like, it's not the coin, it's you who's making that choice, And then he gets in a car accident right after that. Something that you cannot control, the randomness and the chaotic nature of the universe, and this is the deadliest killer that's been put on screen in years. You know what I'm saying? And even he understands that, there's things out of our control, out of all of our control. Finally, I want to talk about Sheriff Bell and his constant whining throughout the film. And if you pay attention to Sheriff Bell, he's constantly whining through the film. It's like he's sitting there reading the newspaper and stuff like, can you believe what I just read in the newspaper? What happened 2 counties over? Can you believe what I just read? These people are crazy every single day.
My God, Wendell, it's just all out war. I can't think of any other word for it. Who are these people?
And then he goes and talks with his old friend, or is he related to him? I forget. But he talks to that guy from Northern Exposure, and he says, I feel outmatched. He's a cop, and he's seeing all these horrible things that people do, and he's frequently whining about this, even with other cops, frequently whining about, these crazy things people do, these gang members shooting each other up, and he sums it up. Sheriff Bell sums it up by saying to this guy from Northern Exposure, saying, I feel outmatched. I feel like it's too big and it's too hard, it's insurmountable for me. And it's insurmountable to me, and that is, and it's never been as bad as it's been right now. But what does his friend say to him? What does he say to him? He says that, he tells a story about this, having to bury, a family member or something like that during hard times, during the Depression, I think. And so, a wife had to bury her husband all by herself during the Depression because there was no one around to help her and stuff like that. And he says something to the effect of, this country is hard on people.
What you got ain't nothing new. This country's hard on people. You can't stop what's coming. It ain't all waiting on you. That's vanity.
And when he says this country is hard on people, he doesn't mean just the United States or just that area of, Texas and Southwest, excuse me. It's the entire world. The entire world is like that. And he says, this country is hard on people, but if you sit there and you think that, it's insurmountable and that it's the worst it's ever been, that's vanity. That's vanity. That's thinking that you've got it worse than everyone in history ever had it. And I really like that scene because it calls out, it's a very, very political way to tell Sheriff Bell to quit whining.
Oh, that's all right. I laugh myself sometimes. Ain't a whole lot else you can do.
And so that's the point of the story. The point of the story is that this is no country for old men, and the point is it's never been a country for old men. It's never been a country for any of us because it's hard, it's difficult, and it's harsh, and even in the very last scene, Sheriff Bell's talking about these dreams that he had where he had his father gave him some money and he lost it, a dream like that. And that's like a kind of an accountability type of dream that that kind of associates with the idea of Anton Chigurh, who has to go around, it's like somebody lost his money, I got to go find it. And so the other dream, I think, is far more important, where he has a dream about his father, and they're both riding horses, and it's dark, and it's cold, and it's windy, and they're freezing, and his dad rides by him, and he's carrying fire in a horn, like they used to in the old days. And he goes on up ahead, doesn't say a word, he's got his blanket wrapped around him, and he's going up further up the trail, and he's watching his father ride off up ahead, and he goes, I knew my dad was going to go out there, make a fire for us out there in the cold, out there in the cold. You know, it's a literal torch stream in many ways. But the whole point of it is that, you know, you have your family, you have the men who've come before you, the men and the women who have come before you in time, and they go out and they make a fire out there in the cold for all of us. And this is why when we say, you know, we stand on the legs of giants, you know, we stand on the backs of giants and stuff like that. That's the previous generations and all that they have done to make a fire in this cold wilderness that we all live in. Because this is no country for old men. This whole world, it's a very dangerous place. However, your family, your love, your faith, you know, it's like these are the fires in the wilderness of the chaos of the world.
The second one, it was like we
I think
was
I'm
both back in the
gonna stop
older
that rant there.
times. And I was a horseback going through the mountains of a night, going through this pass in the mountains. It was cold and there was snow on the ground. He rode past me and kept on going, never said nothing going by, just rode on past. And he had his blanket wrapped around him and his head down. When he rode past, I seen he was carrying fire in a horn, the way people used to do, and I could see the horn from the light inside of it, about the color of the moon. And in the dream, I knew that he was going on ahead. And he's fixing to make a fire somewhere out there in all that dark and all that cold. And I knew that whenever I got there, he'd be there. Then I woke up.